everyone, and good afternoon. Thank you for taking your time to meet with me today to discuss mental health and leave management in healthcare administration. So, before I get started with my presentation for today, I would like to do a brief introduction and just introduce myself. My name is Nicole Brock. I am a recent graduate of Franklin University, and today I will be sharing a shareholder's perspective of the mental health issues as they relate to management in healthcare administration. The shareholder that I had a pleasure of meeting with and conducting this interview with was Nichelle Beckham. She also is a Franklin University alumni. She currently works at Amazon, and she has been there for the past 8 years as a senior operations manager. Nichelle brings over 25 years of experience from the leave and disability industry, and I had the pleasure of briefly conducting an interview with her during her travels to Amazon's Dubai location. So I was very grateful that she was able to speak to me during her layover. So next, we're going to discuss the identified healthcare issue. As I briefly touched on in a previous slide, the identified health issue as it relates to disability and leaves at Amazon is mental health. During my interview with stakeholder Nichelle, she explained how there has been a growing demand for mental health related leaves among employees. She further advised that this is a growing demand which began to increase during the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2022, the World Health Organization advised that the COVID-19 pandemic triggered a 25% increase in anxiety and depression worldwide. As a response, Amazon expanded their mental health coverage by including free online therapy. They also now offer paid mental health days and a total rewards well-being program. And just to elaborate a little more, she explained to me that the well-being program, it includes like going to get a facial or getting your hair done, or getting like your nails and your feet done, getting a massage, you're able to do like kind of self-care things for yourself that ties into mental health, healthy mental health. And it's like a reimbursement program. So you go and get these services done, and then, you turn in, receipts for the wellness program, and you're reimbursed for it. So I personally thought that was an awesome incentive that they added to their program for their employees. Okay, so on this next slide, we're just going to briefly go over the iron triangle model and just kind of explain what that is, and then how it'll tie into the next slide that we have. So if you're not familiar with the iron triangle model, it's described as a relationship amongst cost, quality, and access to care. Cost being the financial investments in services, quality being the standard and outcome of care, and then access being the availability and ease of obtaining services. However, improving in one or more of these components can result in negatively affecting other components of the iron triangle. So again, you may be making strides in cost and quality, but then with the improvement in those areas, that may result in the access no longer being available to those who need it. Just to kind of give an example of what that kind of process of improving and then affecting negativity in another area may look like. Okay, so next we're going to slow down a little bit and spend some time on this slide applying the iron triangle to mental health leave. And first we're going to look at access. So on the PowerPoint, I have access improved through expanded policies. So what does that look like? So expanded access to mental health resources through updated leave policies. And the impact that this would have is employees can take time off without the fear of job loss if they had specific leaves related to, like a mental health day or a mental health leave of absence. Also, a solution to, again, gaining more access to resources would be increased availability of telehealth and virtual counseling provided by the employer for their employees. Okay, so next we're going to look at quality. So on quality, we have enhanced employee support and satisfaction. So enhanced employee support and satisfaction will help employee morale by updating this policy and validating healthcare as a legitimate health issue. And then the impact that this will have is improve recovery and return to work outcomes due to the timely access to care. And then a solution for this process would be better documentation and case management processes, ensuring consistency and fairness. Okay, so then lastly, we're going to look at cost. So cost increase due to in-house administration and resources. Higher operational costs due to expanded benefits, in-house case management, and mental health partnerships. The impact of this is investments in employee mental health well-being can reduce long-term costs in absenteeism, turnover, and productivity loss. However, this will require training processes and compliance monitoring to require budget allocation. So as we noted in the previous slide that, better access and quality may raise costs. So although, the access and quality needs to be improved, that does lead to higher costs. But keeping in mind that investing in quality and access may raise short-term costs, but can lead to long-term savings and higher employee retention. Ensuring access and maintaining legal compliance can create administrative complexity. So it's kind of like, has its pros and its cons. But I think that it's definitely important to just note that although these are short-term costs, it has long-term benefits. Okay, so on this slide, we're going to take a moment and look at the conditions impacting cost, quality, and access. With the first one being shortage of licensed mental health professionals. So in addition to there already being a shortage of licensed mental health professionals, there are also insurance gaps. So many health insurance plans offer limited coverage for therapy, psychiatric care, or medications. And the impact that this has is that it increases cost burden on employees and limits access to quality treatment. So for an example, out-of-pocket costs can alter employees from following through with their treatment, worsening their health and increasing long-term costs for employers. So next we're going to look at stigmas impacting leave requests. So despite the increasing awareness, stigmas around mental health still deter employees from seeking support or taking mental health care leave. And the impact that this has is that it reduces access to care as individuals may fear judgment or retaliation, which can result in untreated conditions and long-term productivity loss. So for an example, employees may underreport symptoms leading to delays in support and increase the severity of their illness, which can affect both the quality and costs. And then the next action item that we will discuss in this slide is the complex state and federal regulations. So mental health leaves are inconsistent across many organizations and states. And the impact that this has is that it creates disparities in access to quality, especially for employees who work in small businesses or in states that have fewer protection, policies or laws. So an example of this would be an employee in one state may be able to receive a mental health leave of absence while another one may not. So this creates inequality in care and unsuccessful outcomes in treating the mental health issue that employee may have. Okay, and then the last action item that we will discuss on this slide is in-house administration versus TPVs or third-party vendors. as it relates to legal compliance and complexity. So, navigating FMLA, ADA, and state leaves is complex and can be risky for employers. And the reason why this can, be risky or make an impact is that poor policy implementation or lack of understanding can reduce quality at the employee experience and increase costs due to potential litigation. So an example of this would be if there's missteps in leave approvals, it can result in a legal outcome, which can have fines or even ruin the, reputation of that specific company. And then I also just wanted to briefly touch on workplace productivity and burnout. Unmanaged mental health issues can lead to burnout and absenteeism, which can decrease quality of output, increase hidden costs due to loss in productivity. So it's important for organizations to have a strong support system like Amazon has. They have improved their morale and their retention, balancing their costs and quality effectively. And I believe that that's something that all organizations need to take into consideration, is that we all need to have a healthy work-life balance. So during my interview with Nichelle, we briefly discussed Amazon's organizational response and strategy to the mental health issue as it relates to leave and disability. And some of the things that she advises that Amazon uses is in-house case management, tech integration and process improvements. They have weekly cross-functional team syncs that are between human resources, payroll, and compliance. And then she also noted that they have a high focus on reducing errors and improving employee experience. All right, so what will the future of leave and disability management look like? During my interview with Nichelle, this was a question that I specifically asked her, is how she felt as though the future would look like for leave and disability management maybe 5 or 10 years from now. And I just wanted to share some of her predictions with you all. So Nichelle predicts that in the future, leave and disability will include an increase in digitalization via AI. We'll have more personalized leave options. There will be an expanded mental health and caregiver benefits added. And she also predicts that we'll have some changes made to the legal and regulatory leave of absences that we currently have. Okay, so before we wrap up my presentation, I just wanted to summarize some of the key takeaways from this presentation, and also from a few things from the interview that I conducted with Nichelle. The first one being that mental health is a key issue in leave and disability management. The Iron Triangle helps frame the trade-offs and policy changes. And then Amazon's strategies offer a model for adapting the evolving needs of their employees. And then leadership plays a vital role in maintaining balance between cost, quality, and access. I hope you enjoyed watching this presentation today. I would love to stick around and answer any questions or concerns that anybody has. And again, thank you for your time today. Have a great rest of your day.